need to know. Most of this stuff is not in the media that was saying, but yet you have documentation of state senators. We're going to read a quote from Senator, what's the guy that ran for it with Gore? Lieberman. He said that the nation is going broke, and folks just don't understand what this means and the impact it'll have on their lives. And but this is the scriptures really fulfilling themselves, and the beginning of the end for the financial collapse of Mr. Babylon that is taking place under our nose, but few or any people are made aware of it because it's deliberately kept out of the media. But before that, I'm going to play some little tapes from Congressman Ron Paul, and somebody else, and Ron Brown, I think it is. Nevertheless, there are principles that are locked up in this thing. And we are at a very important point in history with this country and the world. And we'll discuss that. And but I want to first say that you know that when the children of Israel, the formation of Israel, the 12 sons, there was Joseph was sold into Egypt down here, was a forerunner, and he's the one that interpreted Pharaoh's dream. And he had interpreted Pharaoh's dream, the 7 lean cows and the 7 fat cows. It was 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine. And that would begin, as a result of that interpretation of that dream, he was made second in command of Egypt down there. And he began a program of storing the grain up for those 7 years. If you go to Egypt now, they have what they call big pits in the ground. They call them Joseph's pits, Joseph's. Because there's no J in that language. But anyway, to make a long story short, this famine went 7 years, and we know the children of Israel Israel 7 years sold to come down into Egypt, and that was a great famine. So we're going to pick it up in the 47th chapter of Exodus. Genesis. First 3 or 4 verses, and jump down to about the 15th, reads the 15th, about the 19th verse. And what you see then is Joseph was the administrator down here. And these 7 years of famine, this is really was a depression that was worldwide. And they had to come into Egypt for food, and there had been preparation made. And the point says is that without a prophetic vision, the people perish. As Yahweh told the prophets of Israel, without a prophetic vision. Solomon wrote it. So what you have is the principle here of Joseph in the formation of Israel. The beginning of their coming into Egypt. It began with them coming into Egypt, a land of plenty that was already prepared for this great depression that lasted 7 years. And Joseph was the man in charge. So Yahweh had made preparation. And see, again, we have a change being caused, tension and stress. And they were forced to come out of Canaan's land to come down to Egypt. That's the only place where there was food. Okay, so the point that I'm making here is that down here near the end, you can expect these same principles to begin to repeat themselves. And again, the sons of Yahweh are making preparation. Or those that have some light illumination can see the handwriting on the wall. So would you please read there?
Genesis 47:1. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, My father and my brethren, and their flock and their herds, and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took them, and he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, Thy servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers.
Okay, now listen. Now remember, this is the depression. And they have direct access to Pharaoh. So now a way is being made in this depression such that they can ride this storm out. And they were given land and etc. Again, Yahweh had found favor with Israel. An important point is that Israel means having power. In this calamity, Yahweh has preserved his own seed. Now jump down to about the 15th verse.
15, or you want to start at 13?
Let's start at 13.
And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very severe, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine.
Okay, so it said the land fainted. Look, this is a hard depression. Then if you go to Revelations, that third horseman, which was the, I think he was the black horseman, that, why don't you get me to Revelations about that third horseman? And see, he said he had two scales, or two balances. Mm-hmm. And he was weighing what? The barley and the
wheat.
So in other words, things were scarce. So in other words, we talk about depression. And that's one of the things that's coming. So the land, in other words, now we're saying something that's very rarely coming in America. We have a jobless recovery. The first jobless recovery since 1939. People can't say, in other words, this is the worst recovery since 1939. And people don't see the handwriting on the wall. And we still have not fully recovered. Okay, read.
I'm still looking at Revelation.
6 and 5.
But just continue on in what
6
you
and
call.
5.
Yeah, Revelation 6 and 5.
6 and 5, Revelations. And I heard a voice in the midst of our four living creatures saying, a measure of wheat for a denarius, and 3 measures of barley for the denarius.
See, a denarius was actually you're working a day for what? A wages. A day wages just to eat. Usually, if you work a day, you still have money left over. So you can see then how tough it was. And this is what food being weighed and scarcity. What we have now is a scarcity of jobs, of means of making an income. So you begin to see that third horseman is already here. And that's the beginning. And this thing has not unfolded. And it took 7 years for this thing to finally unfold down here. And really the children of Israel, I think they came down in the second year they had come down into Egypt. And there was 5 more years ago. So most people have not even come to the realization of what is ready to take place. Okay, read on. Back in Genesis.
14. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the grain, which they bought. And Joseph brought the money unto Pharaoh's house. And when money failed in the land
now that's
of
the
Egypt,
point. It says, and when money failed. That article that you got in your hand is the state senator of what? Of Maryland. What he's stating here, it says the former Maryland state senator sounds the alarm on the U.S. dollar. So this is just not anybody. He's a state senator. He said, listen, the dollar is shot. So money is failing. So I didn't say this. Dr. Winnow Clinton said it. These are very astute politicians and people in the economy. Listen, this thing is failing. And people have not made preparation like Joseph made preparation. And Joseph was having a vision. People said, well, a prophetic vision of people perish. You have to have some type of insight. Or somebody that had a vision or a dream or something to let you know what's coming so that you can prepare for you and your household. Okay, read on.
And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. Okay, and
you know what they're going to do? They're going to go to the federal government and give us what? Jobs. Give us food. But they got a problem. See, these principles of the government is dead broke and they can't produce no job. Maybe they have to start a WPA program. That's what's to be coming. Okay, read.
Continue there.
Yeah, continue on.
And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money